Welcome to Something to Say, where we bring voices from diverse backgrounds who will share their unique stories and perspectives on finding their passion and provide insights on how you can find yours. Join us as host Greg DeShields guides us through this enlightening journey.
Welcome to Something to Say podcast, a unique platform that amplifies the voices from individuals from various backgrounds sharing their passions. I'm your host, Greg DeShields, and I am pleased to bring you this special episode promoting the Greater Philadelphia Film Office that will soon present the fourth annual Philadelphia Storyteller Award to Sharon Pinkenson. Thank you for joining us as your host and a proud board member of the Greater Philadelphia Film Office. I'm excited to welcome Sharon Pinkenson, our executive director. So let's tell you a little bit more about Sharon. A longtime resident of Center City, Philadelphia, Sharon is a graduate of the Philadelphia High School for Girls and Temple University. She has three daughters, three granddaughters, and is passionately in love with life. Her business career began with the successful launch of Plague Tahiti, a trend-setting boutique in Center City, Philadelphia. She designed and manufactured women's apparel that was sold nationally in stores like Bloomingdale's, Strawbridge and Clothier, and she was the recipient of several design awards. Before her appointment as executive director and film commissioner of the Greater Philadelphia Film Office in 1992, Sharon worked as a costume designer and wardrobe stylist in the film industry. Among her featured credits are Mannequin 2, On the Move, Renegades, Christmas on Division Street, and Confessions of a Suburban Girl. She is the first film office director to come to the post directly from film production. As executive director of the Greater Philadelphia Film Office, Sharon has successfully elevated the film office from a little known permit office to one of the most well respected film commissions in the industry. Her work was also instrumental in the passage of the Pennsylvania Film Production Tax Credit Program in 2004, which continues to be one of the most sustainable incentive programs in the industry. For nearly 3 decades, as Sharon has led the Greater Philadelphia Film Office, it has consistently grown, and the film office has been incredible in creating over $7 billion of economic impact for the Southern Pennsylvania region. Sharon's 3 decades of service to the local film industry has cemented Philadelphia's reputation as one of the country's best filming locations. So, welcome, and Sharon, we are so glad that you've joined us on Something to Say.
Thank you, Greg. I'm delighted.
I'm thrilled that you are joining us, and I'm anxious to begin our conversation. But I think it's not just me, but everybody who's in the office. Before we begin, I think the question that we all have is, what is your favorite Philadelphia movie?
Oh, let's see. My favorite holiday movie is, I like to say it's the movie called The Holiday, and it is Nancy. It was a Sony film, and it was directed by Nancy Myers. And the reason that I love it too is because Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz and Jude Law were all in it. And I worked with Kate and with Cameron. Also, Cameron was in her shoes, and she was so much fun to work with.
So you have been amazing. Your career, you've been able to merge fashion, city business strategy, the entertainment industry, but I think most people really want to know just who you are. So here on Something to Say, we like to engage in a few get to know you questions. It's a great way for our audience to get to know you better and just to learn a little bit more about you and some of your perspectives. So are you up for a few icebreaker questions before we get into the heavy stuff?
Let's do it.
So let's start with, I guess, the small child of Sharon. So, what's your favorite childhood memory?
This is a really great story. I think it's something that's very important to me. So, my first day in elementary school when I was living in Levittown, Pennsylvania, in a tiny little house. And I went to Ralph Waldo Emerson Elementary School. But the thing that's so amazing is that Ralph Waldo Emerson was there. Yes.
Wow.
And he actually came into the school and he picked a little girl, which was me, to sit on his lap while he talked. I mean, that's a great
That's
start of
a
my
really great start.
life. Yes, that's clearly favorite childhood memory.
Congrats to you. He has so many incredible quotes that he shared with us about travel and just life in general. So, what an amazing experience for you. So, the second question, even as I wrote it, I just could not imagine how you would answer it, but I'm going to throw it out there. So, what was your biggest failure and what did you learn from that experience?
My biggest failure was my wonderful boutique called Plage Tahiti. And in 1985, I got into the film industry. It was an extremely different and difficult time. Interest rates were very high and disastrous. And my partner at the time decided that she fell in love with somebody else from her previous husband, left and moved away to Florida. She's still married to this guy, and she left me alone. And ultimately, because of the interest rates in those days, I actually had to shut down Plage Tahiti. So that was my worst memory, my biggest failure.
But through that, you really were able to sharpen your perspectives, your insights, and your skills around business management. I mean, clearly that all is a big part of what you do with the film office. But I guess through those tough times, we get even better at other aspects of our area of talent and expertise. So this question is going to be an interesting one for you because you've met so many amazing people and we've gotten some incredible responses from individuals. But this question I'll present to you is if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would that be and why?
This one, I absolutely, it was such an easy pick for me. And that would really be Benjamin Franklin. So I'm so devoted to my city. I think that it is the most important city in the world. And if you talk about politics, if you talk about history, whatever you talk about, I think if I could have an opportunity to sit down with Benjamin Franklin because I love history, that would be my absolute wish. Obviously, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, we know you're a big fan of Benjamin Franklin, and I guess a little bit of spoiler alert. I know that there's a movie that may be done at some point in time about Ben Franklin in Philadelphia, or at least the Philadelphia connection.
Would be wonderful.
So let me ask you this question. Who has made the most influence on you and your life?
My mother. I learned so much from my mother.
What did your mother do?
I grew up in the city, really, by the time I was in high school, and my mom and dad opened stores at Third and Market. My family's business, my grandfather manufactured neckwear, ties at Third and Market and on Arch Street. And so all of my family worked in the business. And so my grandmother and my mother opened a store to sell retail to men that came in to buy neckties. And so my grandfather was in the factory, and then my uncles had stores. One uncle worked with my mother and my grandmother, and my other uncle opened shirt corner. So Uncle Marvin had Shirt Corner. My Uncle Jerry worked with my mother and my grandmother, and my father, for a short period of time, had a place called Pants Corner.
I remember
You do? Oh, I love that.
it.
And so what was great about it is somebody would come in and buy a pair of pants. And my father was very skillful with sewing, which, by the way, I learned all of those skills about sewing. And he would immediately do the hems, and he would sell them. He would go upstairs. He would do the hems. They'd buy them and walk out with them.
Amazing. So, well, I have to tell you an interesting story. I bought my junior prom suit at Suit Corner, right across the street.
Oh,
And I
well, that,
still have it.
oh my God, that's great.
So, one more question before we dive into the industry. When was the best year of your life, and when was the worst year of your life?
The best year of my life was when my daughter was born.
Okay.
And I loved being a mommy. Absolutely loved being a mommy. And I still do.
Mm,
Now I have a granddaughter as well. And I love being a mom.
mm.
So, yes, I really did. I think that was absolutely the best year.
Mhm.
You're going to ask me then is what's the worst
What was the
year?
worst year?
So the worst year, I told you about the dentist that I married, who was brilliant. And when he was at Temple Dental School, do you know what detail men are? The detail people from pharmaceutical companies, what
Yeah,
they are?
yeah.
So they would come to the schools,
Mm,
dental schools, or in my case that I'm experienced with, they would come to go to the new dental students. And first they would offer them little drugs to help them, calm their patients down. And the next thing, these detail men came around and said that they would, here is some pharmaceutical cocaine to rub on your gums, or to their gums, the patient's gums, so that it won't hurt. Long story short, my husband became an addict, and that was the worst year of my life. And ultimately, I took my daughter, I left him, because he just couldn't get it out of it.
mm.
And he was having a lot of problems. And he ultimately died at a very young age. Yeah. So that was my worst year.
Well, you've certainly, as an individual, persevered through very tough times, and it is really special for us that you share that story with us because I'm sure, as we even talk about passion, there are others who probably share that same sort of experience. And you have really given us an insight about Sharon that probably people don't know. There's a lot more to us as individuals that really make us up to who we are. So I commend you on your strength and your fortitude and your ability to move forward with life and continue to enjoy a lot of those other special moments that are out there for you.
Thank you.
But we know that you are, without any doubt, completely in the know when it comes to industry. So I do have some industry questions for you. So,
Yeah, of
as it
course.
relates to entertainment, what are some of the most significant trends that you see are developing in the industry of entertainment?
Well, the industry has changed a lot recently. First, there was COVID. And when COVID came, the industry really got bogged down and it was very difficult. And then there were all the strikes, and that really made for a very difficult time. And even now, we're not back up to where we used to be. There's just, I don't know if you're like looking at those wonderful series that we used to see all the time. We don't have them really anymore. I mean, it's very disappointing, and hopefully, it's going to come back in this magic that we had. I think that it will come back. I certainly hope so. one of the problems right now in the industry is that they are shooting things in other countries now, and so the business is not as strong as it used to be.
So there is more incentive in other countries than perhaps what they're able to get here, not just in Philadelphia, but in the United States in general.
In general as well, but also other states have uncapped tax credits, and we have a very limited tax credit in Pennsylvania. So a lot of shows will go, for example, to New Jersey or to other states that normally would have been in Philadelphia.
So let's talk about the upcoming Thursday, September 12th, Greater Philadelphia Film Office fourth annual Storyteller Award, and you are receiving it. Congratulations to you. I know that
You-
it's going to be a special evening, and we want to, without any doubt, acknowledge both Jeffrey and Diane Rotwit, who will be hosting the event. What do you think the event will be like?
Well, it's going to be fabulous. It's beautiful. It's in a beautiful private home in Radnor. And it's going to be all outdoors, which I love that. Hopefully that we will have beautiful weather this time of year. And it's going to be fun, wonderful food, great music. Sure there'll be some speeches, dancing, showing clips of some shows that we have worked on, or that I have worked on since I'm the honoree. There's all kinds of auction items that will be there. That you can actually go online now and start looking at the auction items and buy them. And I'm sure you can tell your listeners how to access it. And I think it's hopefully we're going to raise a lot of money, because it's very important for everybody to know that we are a nonprofit. We're a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and that's very, very important. And we want to continue, and I'm thrilled to be the fourth honoree.
Absolutely. And I, personally, as a board member, want to encourage our listeners to support this particular event. Philadelphia is a great city, and it, without any doubt, is a great backdrop to some fantastic movies. And what better way to show your support than to help with this fundraiser for the film office? Because it's not easy. We have a lot of competition, and our ability to be solvent and provide the kind of resources and support that production crews may need in order to have a great experience in Philadelphia. And not just what we're able to deliver to the production crew, but what they deliver to us by the economic impact that they create, the jobs that they create, the
Indeed.
excitement and the focus that it brings on Philadelphia. So I'm a big advocate. I am certainly excited about attending. And I know we've done this in the past, and we've had some great recipients who've been a part of it in the past as well.
I just had a call yesterday with Lee Daniels, and he's so disappointed that he's not going to be able to be there because he's going to be shooting. But he's actually sending something for the event. He's going to do a video to talk about me, which is great.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I look forward to the event. I encourage everyone to visit the film office. We'll certainly make sure that through all of our distribution of this podcast, that they'll get a direct link in order to register and to support all future initiatives of the film office. But Sharon, you have been, without any doubt, a great interview for something
Oh,
today. But we are called something to say. And I think our last and final question is where we kind of turn it over to you. So the question we have for you is, what do you have to say?
I am honored to be on this podcast. I just think it's thrilling. I've never done anything like that before, Greg, and I really am enjoying it and have enjoyed it. I want to thank you for that. I hope it comes off in the positive direction that I intended, and because I am an optimist.
Wonderful. Well, Sharon, once again, thank you so much for your passion, the insightful words that you provided. I'm sure they will be, without a doubt, motivational and beneficial to our audience. And to those of you in our audience, thank you for joining us for this episode of Something to Say. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations with voices of individuals from diverse backgrounds telling their story and providing good insight around their passion. And until next time, this has been Greg DeShields.
Thank you for tuning in to Something to Say. We trust you found some valuable insights and takeaways that can help you find your passion. Don't miss out on future episodes. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on your preferred platform. We value your feedback and suggestions, so let us know how we can serve you better. Keep the conversation going and stay inspired until we meet again. Take care and happy listening.